What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video, I'll be covering a tragedy. Now, as the title and thumbnail may suggest, you will be seeing, or I should be talking about, chapter 184 of the good manga Demon Slayer, right? And up to this point, we've been seeing Tanjiro, along with many other of the pillars, along with Inosuke and Zenitsu, all be trying to fight many demons. They're basically fighting their way up the 12 moons, and they're fighting Muzan. As the title suggests, in this chapter, we see something absolutely despicable, and that is Tanjiro's death. Now, this isn't clickbait. I'm not baiting you guys in any way, shape, or form. Tanjiro, in this latest chapter, has died. Now, I will be going through leading up to how this happened, but I just want to say this, guys. Tanjiro's dead, and this is something that, we've seen some, main characters be quote-unquote killed in their anime before, but then they're revived. But, I don't know, to me, this feels like it was so offhanded that I feel like this, I don't know, it may be a switch up for the series as a whole. Now, I may be incorrect. That may be a bad theory. You can, comment your thoughts down below, because hopefully, we can get a conversation started about this, since seemingly no one is talking about this topic. But this is something that, I felt personally I needed to talk about. Tanjiro dying could possibly mean a lot for the series, right? Now, the way this happened is basically in the encounter with Muzan, right? Tanjiro had some of Muzan's blood spilled on him when he cut him with one of his breathing techniques, right? When he did this, the blood spilled on him, and Muzan's blood is basically, if you get too much of it, it's poisonous, right? It will kill you if you overconsume the amount of blood, right? If you get a certain amount, you can turn into a demon. But Muzan outright says that he's been hit with too much blood and he's just going to die right there. We even see that based on what Muzan said, Tanjiro not is dying, not is about to die, he's already dead. He's deceased, his heart has stopped beating, he's stopped breathing. Basically all indications of life are just gone from Tanjiro. We see half of his face is just cracking and transformed. Almost like how a demon looks when its head is cut off. I mean, we just see all kinds of things, right? Tanjiro, like I said, I want to reiterate this once again, this is not a joke, it's not a cap in any way, shape, or form. I'll leave a link to where you guys can read the latest chapter down below so you can see for yourself. But yes, Tanjiro has died. Now, in the previous chapters leading up to this, right, we had seen them basically be attacking Muzan because Muzan's the main enemy, and if they can kill Muzan, they basically have won this entire thing outright, correct? The only thing is, Muzan having his head cut off does not kill him like most other demons would, right? Just having his head simply cut off will not do jack to him, right? He just regenerates. He regenerates to the degree where even if his head is cut off, it's instantly reattached. And it's even hard to cut his head off because as you were cutting him, he regenerates the damage as you were cutting through his neck. Meaning that even if you did cutting his head off is hard enough, right? And even if you were able to cut it off, he can survive that attack. So there is only one way to beat him, and that is through the use of sunlight, right? That is the only way to basically be able to kill him, have him out in direct sunlight so he dies. Now, that was the goal. They were inside this little building, and they were fighting him. Tanjiro and Giyu were fighting basically him 2-on-1, and they were getting absolutely demolished. There is no way they had even a sliver of a chance against him, right? That wasn't the point. They weren't hoping to beat him. No one can beat Muzan, right? Or at least from what we've seen, no one has the skill, the speed, the strength, any abilities that we have seen that are strong enough to even touch Muzan, much less just outright kill him by himself, or even in a 2-on-1, or even if all the pillars attacked at once. We see that Muzan's abilities, his range, his speed is something that just absolutely blitzes, right? Now, we see that Tanjiro in the panel before this, or not the panel, in the chapter before this, Tanjiro actually lost one of his eyes, right? So Tanjiro's been really getting the work lately. But it's his right eye. His right eye had been slashed out by Muzan himself, and basically Tanjiro had been only able to fight on pure instinct and his senses of smell alone, right? Meaning that Tanjiro was at a major disadvantage against someone that was the strongest person he had ever fought in his life, right? The most powerful opponent he could have ever come across, correct? So, really, Tanjiro was never... No one that we see that are fighting Muzan is able to even touch him. They're not able to do lasting damage to him, which is just insane, right? I will Demon Slayer is such a masterpiece. If you're not reading the manga, quick thing, if you're not reading it, get on the manga. Drop anything else you're reading at the moment. Honestly, it's so hype. Just go read it right now. Just drop what you're reading. After this video, after you hear everything I have to say, go read the manga, right? But we'll get into the playbook. So we see Tanjiro wake up after getting bodied into basically a little place, right? We see that they wake up, or Tanjiro, I should say, wakes up after the crumbling place, crumbles down on top of them. And they're in a strange remote location, but for this it'll be fine, right? I'm not doing a whole chapter analysis. I just wanted to mainly cover this topic. Muzan comes out of the rubble and he just starts bodying people, right? We see that all of the pillars, or most of the pillars that are alive, attack all at once, and they were able to somewhat get close, and they're basically able to get to his neck. Like I said, they are able to cut, but as they are cutting, he is healing the damage, right? And just basically because they're caught off guard by this ability, we see that they're almost all of them killed in one instant, although we see that people sacrifice, like the regulars, not the pillars, but like the demon slayers below that, sacrifice their lives and their own bodies because they know that the pillars are their only hope, like the only hope they could possibly have of taking out Muzan, right? And holding him off long enough to essentially make him stay there until sunlight, right? So that we see them sacrificing themselves, just absolutely getting bodied, demolished, just being torn apart like they're just flies, right? They're sacrificing their lives. They keep on pushing themselves. It's akin to something. It's just they're just cannon fodder to Muzan. Like, it's honestly just a very depressing sight to see, right? We then see Tanjiro charge at Muzan, right? He starts coughing up blood. He falls to the ground, right? But that's fine. You would think, okay, he's been hurt. He just had a building collapse on him. He's fine. He'll get up. He's Tanjiro, right? He's survived things worse than this. But we see Muzan bring attention to him. He even says, "Look that way," bringing attention to Tanjiro. You not only see a bunch of the other demon slayers who risked their lives and basically had been chopped in half, bodied, absolutely demolished, thrashed, torn through like paper. And we just see Tanjiro laying on the ground, right? And you're just thinking, okay, Tanjiro's injured. But we get a close-up on his face. Part of his face is cracked. He's coughing up blood. He seems to not be able to breathe. And we see a close-up of Giyu. He looks at Tanjiro, and we get another close-up of Muzan, who just speculates on him. He says that due to the blood poisoning his cells, Tanjiro is already dead. Now, like I said, I'll be leaving a link so you can look at this yourself. But let me just say this. Tanjiro's death hurts. Even if this isn't permanent, which a lot of people may say it's not permanent, right? Honestly, it still hits hard, right? I would like it if it's permanent because I feel like it would impact the series a lot, but I would also not like it because Tanjiro's a GOAT and I don't want him dead, alright? But seeing this panel and knowing that I have to wait another week for this to happen is downright depressing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I need to see what happens after this. So, man, I just need a rip in the comment section for Tanjiro because he's dead, and this is just pure reaction, right? This isn't scripted. This isn't anything. This is just my reaction to a tragedy happening. Wow, Tanjiro is just a very okay. Let me say this. Tanjiro was one of the best characters in Demon Slayer, right? As an anime protagonist should be, right? He was interesting, he was funny, he was just a very cool character all around. So seeing Tanjiro in this state, whether it's going to last or not, is something that's very depressing to me as a fan, but it's something that I think is just, wow. It is, whoa. This, I rarely see this in a shonen, just nonchalantly kill off the main character. Like, he didn't die in battle, he didn't die getting cut in half, getting chopped, like, he wasn't beaten down. The blood that spattered on him after slicing Muzan poisoned him, and he just died without basically anyone even noticing until Muzan brings attention to it, which I just think is, like, it's genius for reasons that I'll get into probably in a more in-depth, like, analysis of this. But it's really genius on how the, like, I don't know, it just, the nonchalantness of how this was happening is just, it perplexes me. It's making me feel antsy to see the next part or the next manga chapter, which, don't worry, if it's like this, I'll definitely review. So hit that subscribe button if you do want to see more of this. Weird plug, but it's genius, and it's evoking me to make a video out of pure instinct and emotion. Demon Slayer videos don't do well on the channel. I'm well aware of that, but no one else is talking about this when I definitely think people should. Maybe it's out of whatever spoilers. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. If you're not reading this, honestly, this is your punishment. This is what you have to face now. You shall know pain, right? So that's all I have to say on the topic, guys. Wow. If you like the video, consider hitting the like button, subscribing, hitting the bell if you want to, see more of these type of videos. If this video is like an outlier and does well, I guess I will start making more Demon Slayer videos. I do have a Demon Slayer review coming on the way up. Should be coming out, I don't know, a couple days, a week, however that works. I have Thanksgiving break now, so I should be having more time to work on videos. But wow, this is wild. Yeah, I will be talking about this in the community tab. I'll be talking about this all over the place. So, I just gotta say, prayers for Tanjiro. If you are reading this, let me know. If you do want more Demon Slayer videos and you have topics, let me know. But that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. So, I guess this is Anime X, very depressed, signing off.